I like to give all glory and praise and honor unto the Most High. And today I want to talk about this Netflix series called The Peaky Blinders. Because I finished watching it, and it's interesting, man, because they have they make a lot of biblical references in this Netflix series, man. But one thing about this, you have to be careful when you're watching it, because Netflix is filled with a lot of propaganda. So if you don't understand the scriptures, you know, they could end up swaying you away. You know, if your foundation is not strong in the Bible, if you don't understand the scriptures. But the story is basically about this small time. He starts off as a small time gangster. The main character, Thomas Shelby, and they were doing everything as far as lying, killing, stealing, blackmailing people. On the streets, and I think in the streets of Birmingham, and eventually he moved his way up to the top. He started doing a lot more bigger jobs for people that were sitting in Congress. And one of the deals he made was like, look, man, he made a deal with Winston Churchill. They had, and that was the Prime Minister of the UK at the time. So like, look, man, if I do this job for you, if I do this, if I go ahead and kill this person, you got to hook me up. I need a seat in Parliament. That's pretty much Congress. And he eventually got it, man. So this main guy right here, the main character, Thomas Shelby, he didn't believe in God. He didn't believe in the Most High. And throughout his him moving up the ranks, a lot of his crew was dying, and basically he set his foundation on wickedness, man. He built his foundation on wickedness. And what does the scripture say? The Most High said, "There's no rest for the wicked." And there was one point in the movie where he took a break. He said he took a break. He wanted to get away from it for a little bit, take a little vacation. And when he took a break, he was being tormented, man. He was being tormented because he couldn't stand to be by himself, man. And remember I told you, like, look, demonic people, they cannot be by themselves, man. They cannot. So he was being tormented, man. He was losing his mind because he couldn't stand the peace and tranquility. He had to be in the mix of everything, he had to be drinking liquor. He had to be drinking alcohol. He had to be doing something, going out there robbing, stealing, killing people, But I'm making this video because it was something that he said specifically that caught my attention. Because like I said, they mention make a lot of biblical references in this movie, man. And if you don't study the scriptures, you're not gonna be able to catch it. It's a lot, But he couldn't understand. Like, he felt like he was cursed. And he couldn't understand, like, damn, why all this keep happening to me? It's pretty easy if you're looking at it from a spiritual aspect. Look, you're doing all manner of wickedness, man. But everybody was seeing the glitz and the glamour, of his life, the cars, the property, everything he was owning. But this guy was never at peace. And there was one point he was sitting down and he was saying, look, man, I have 3 gardeners that guarded my property, and they have no ambition, meaning, look, they have no ambitions to do the things that I do, to move up the ranks and, be part of, Parliament, be part of Congress. But he said his 3 gardeners are more happier than him. So he said, look, when my gardeners are happier than me, they don't have more money than me, they're at peace. So I want to play this little video right here to show you, like, man, and this, look, man, when he said this, when he was trying to inquire about why he felt like, he was cursed, this is what the guy said to him. So these guys are, one more thing, these guys are gypsies in this film, this Netflix series. They're all gypsies. And this clip that's going to come up, I don't know how true this part is. It may be a folktale about how, the gypsies made the nails for Jesus' cross, or Yeshua's cross. I don't know how true that is. It may be a folktale, but listen to what he's saying, though, after that.
said it were the gypsies made the nails for Jesus' cross, and that's why we're cursed and restless. You go on. You have to move around or the guilt catches up with you. Your grandfather, he went the same way. Suicide. Sometimes these things run in the family. Fuck family talk. You just have to get on with it. You're a gypsy. You have to move around or it all catches up with you.
Ben Younger is dead. Someone put a bomb in his car. I don't know how you felt about him, or how bad this is gonna hurt. But whatever happens, just remember you have a baby inside of you.
God. Anyone you touch, which means anyone I touch, which means anyone any of us touch. He never knew I was...
So Genesis 4:12, I'm going to read the ESV version. When you work the ground, it shall no longer yield to you its strength. You shall be a fugitive and a wanderer on the earth.
Now I'm back where we began. With horses and caravans, vagabonds and thieves.
So this was talking about Cain and his descendants. But we know that those descendants of Cain are not alive anymore because they got wiped out in the flood. They had to get wiped out in the flood. That wicked line of Cain. Only Noah and his sons made it, and his family. But the way that these people live, these so-called, these people gypsies, they call them gypsies in this film. Gypsies are like people that wander around. They lived in their caravans and they moved from place to place. So this is what popped into my head when they said you got to keep moving. You got to keep moving. You see that clip right there that I played, that was like, towards the end or the last episode, and he was saying, back to where we started, and caravans being thieves, robbers, pretty much. This is pretty much what his family consisted of. Thieves, robbers, liars, corruption. This is how he made it to the top. This is how he was able to get into Parliament, into Congress, And when he got into Congress, it was people just like him in there, and he was blackmailing people, man. It kind of reminded me of like Vladimir Putin. How he you heard the stories about him and how he rose to the top, these guys were sitting there, they had the cops paid off, these guys were sitting down with people that they were going to kill, smiling and drinking with them, plotting the assassination, like real high level corruption, family, But anyway, I'm gonna try to stay on topic, man. You will be a restless wanderer on the earth, man. This is what he said. This is what the Most High put on Cain. But like I said, those people are not alive anymore because of the flood. Let's keep going, man. Let's take a look at gypsies right here. It says, why do gypsies travelers pursue a traveling lifestyle? In most cases, it has been their way of life for generations. Their way of life means that they travel the country, staying for various periods in different locations in order to earn a living for themselves and their family. Like I said, this is how they move about, man, from place to place, like nomads. This was what the Most High put on Cain, it's similar to the way they lived, And let's bring this up. So right here, I found this comment. You said right here, this guy, he said, I came across this UK gypsy on social media and remembering Bill telling me that gypsies aren't white. I don't really like using that white. Remember that white and black thing is a European construct, But let's keep going. I used to assume that they were just displaced whites, as so many of them came to look white. Or maybe I wasn't looking close enough. However, I now know that they aren't white, at all. I remember reading somewhere that the ancient Canaanite Jews were caravan raiders and tent dwellers. So those Khazars, you know, they did the same thing as these gypsies. They would rob people and take their identity. They would corrupt people, like similar to what is they're portrayed about these gypsies in this movie. So let's keep going. So right here, that they played musical instruments and worked with metal, etc. Could it be that the so-called Romani gypsy shares its origins with the modern day Jew back to ancient Canaanites? The word gypsy indicates that they originally came from Egypt. Canaanite origins will make them kindreds of Jews. Now, the gypsies' propensity to lie, steal, and cheat is well known. This is what they did in the movie. They lied, they steal, they cheat, they kill, they blackmail people all the way to the top. The gypsies' propensity to lie, steal, and cheat is well known in this country. Many a retired old man or woman can testify to that. And their love of money and lavish objects like gold jewelry and such is equally well known. This is what they were doing in the movie too. If they do share a common origin, then it's pretty clear to see that one branch off the old Canaanite tree conducted its criminality in a more insidious, concealed fashion after creeping into our councils unawares and taking over our governments, and the other being more overt in criminal activities, yet hiding themselves away, living insinuous lives in modern-day version of caravans, hidden away on gypsy campsites. So look, everything he's saying right here is what they were doing in the movie. When they buried their dead, they buried them in the caravans and they lit it on fire. So he's saying one branch of Canaanite, conducted this criminality in a more insidious, concealed fashion after creeping in the council. This is what they did in the movie. They eventually worked their way into government, into politics. This guy that was killing all these people on the streets like a thug. People voted for him. They voted for Barabbas. And he was up there like he was righteous, giving the speech. Thomas Shelby was he was a piece of crap, man. When you looking at it from a spiritual aspect, he was a piece of crap, man. And what they try to do, they try to portray, these guys is good, and nah, it was real high level wickedness, man. But let's keep going, man. So like you said, the Canaanite Jews were caravan raiders, just like these gypsies were. Let's keep going. He's saying, look. It's sort of a connection there, to lie, cheat, and steal. Let's keep going. Job chapter 1, verse 7. And the Most High said unto Satan, whence comest thou? Then Satan answered the Most High and said, from going to and fro in the earth and from walking up and down in it. So right here, you see that Satan, he was a wanderer. He was a wanderer. Just like Cain was. He was a wanderer and his descendants. Just like how these gypsies are, wanderers. Satan is the same way, wandering to and fro. Let's keep going. More verses. So Proverbs 21:16. The man that wandereth out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead. So wandering again. So wandering is not it's not really a good thing. Let's keep going. Proverbs 27:8. As a bird that wandereth from her nest, so is a man that wandereth from his place. So a bird that wanders from her nest, don't have nowhere to go, no place to stay, because that's her domain. That's its domain, the nest. Yeah. Let's keep going. Hebrews 11:37 through 37 to 38. They were stoned, they were sawn asunder, they were tempted, they were slain with the sword. They wandered about in sheepskins and goatskins, being destitute, afflicted, and tormented. And these were righteous people right here at when that we talking about, of whom the world was not worthy. They wandered in deserts and in mountains and in dens and in caves of earth. So these people were wandering because they didn't have anywhere to go because they were being persecuted, You know, so you see that Satan was also a wanderer. You know, so like you see being a wanderer and having no set foundation or where to stay. That's not a good thing. You know, so let's bring this up. So a lot of Freemasons, they like to use this traveling man to identify themselves. Like, you know, they like to say, "Oh, yeah, are you a traveling man?" This, that, and the third, and that's how they'll know that, hey, you're a Mason also. You know, so in turn, a Mason is denoted as a traveler, while rising from the east to the west symbolically when rising in degrees. The traveling man denotes privilege awarded to a Master Mason, and is a phrase that would be recognized by other Master Masons as a true solicitation of brotherhood to which they belong. So you see, they say like, "Are you a traveling man?" This, that, and the third. You know, and the other person will understand like, "Hey, yeah, I'm a traveling man." This, whatever. But I don't know what the hell they be saying. But you see that, you know, Satan was moving to and fro up and down the earth. He was a traveling person. Cain, you know, he was cursed with that, to travel to and fro. These gypsies, you know, they move to and fro around the earth. You know, you see what I'm talking about. And I show you in the scriptures, like, being a wanderer is not a good thing. You know, being a wanderer is not a good thing. But you see, this is how they identify, you know, as a traveling man. As a like, this is not like a nomad. A nomad has no place to go. He just continually moves around from place to place. So like I said, man, this is what, and like I said, they were corrupt. They were corrupt, and this is reminding me of what similar to the Khazars. Like the guy was saying, look, there's a connection there. So I'm gonna read this real quick. So this is from a book that I read a while back, Arthur Kessler's The 13th Tribe. And right here, he's showing you how, you know, like I said, these people, you know, they were thieves, they were robbers, they steal people's identities. So you see right here, he's showing you how, you know, the Khazars, you know, how they adopted Judaism, you know. So right here, I'm moving from the highlighted part. At the beginning of the 8th century, the world was polarized between the two superpowers representing Christianity and Islam. Their ideological doctrines were welded to power politics, pursued by the classical methods of propaganda, subversion, and military conquest. The Khazar Empire represented a third force, which had proved equal to either of them, both as an adversary and ally. But it could only maintain its independence by accepting neither Christianity nor Islam, for neither choice would have automatically subordinated it into the authority of the Roman Empire or the Caliph of Baghdad. So you see right here, you know, the reason they chose Judaism was because they didn't want to fall under the Khazars. They didn't want to fall under the you know, the Romans, and they didn't want to fall under the Caliphate, you know, the Islam, you know. So they picked Judaism. Let's keep reading. So right here it's saying there can be no question that the ruler was actuated by political motives in adopting Judaism. To embrace Mohammedanism would have made him the spiritual dependent of the caliphs, like I was saying before, who attempted to press their faith on the Khazars, and in Christianity lay the danger of becoming the ecclesiastical vassal of the Roman Empire. Judaism was a reputable religion with sacred books, man. Sacred books, your book, which both Christian and Mohammedan respected. It elevated him above the heathen barbarians and secured him against the interference of the caliph or the emperor. So you see, this is why they chose it. You know, this is why they chose, you know, Judaism, man, because they didn't want to be under the you know, the caliph, like I said before, and they didn't want to be under the Romans. You know, oh man, you know. So let's jump down to the last paragraph, man. You know, so like you see, like, you know, like the even in the Quran, you know, it speaks highly of the you know, the Hebrews, you know. So let's keep going. The last paragraph. Though the Khazar's course conversion was no doubt politically, that's all it was about, motivated, it would still be absurd to imagine that they embrace overnight blindly a religion whose tenets were unknown to them. In fact, however, they had been well acquainted with the Jews and their religious observances for at least a century before. Why were they acquainted? And well known with their religion for almost a century? Why? Because remember, if you read the book of the Maccabees, or not the Maccabees, Josephus, it tells you that John Hyrcanus had converted a lot of them over, to that religion, So they already knew what was up, because of John Hyrcanus, he converted them. That's the first point right there, Oh man, so you see, they took on this whole other identity, and this is what I'm trying to show you what the Khazars did. They took, a whole nother identity, man. And these were more like the people that were there, when Yeshua HaMashiach was there, when he came. So sacred books, man. That's why the scripture says, give that which is holy unto a dog, lest they turn around and trample on you, man. You were supposed to safeguard that. Let's keep going. So right here, you got somebody like a Tyson Fury. They call him the Gypsy King. So I guess he comes from those origins. But when you watching the flick, the Peaky Blinders, they all look like white men in the movie. They all look like white men, and I hate using that term. So you see Tyson Fury here, he looked pretty much like a white guy. So this is why you say he was having a hard time distinguishing, who they were, of that that comment I read early on. But not all gypsies, have this features, like Tyson Fury or in the Peaky Blinders when you look them up, some of them look completely different. But the ones that they were showing you in the movie, they all pretty much look like Caucasian men, This is a young Charlie Chaplin, who they also, showed in the movie. He made a little short appearance. I mean, he's a gypsy. So this is him at a younger age. He looked like a Caucasian man here, But, I want to play this clip real quick, and I want to show you, like I said before, the gypsies, they had they lied, they steal, they kill. This is what pretty much, like I said over and over again, this is what they did in the movie, man. This was their way of life, This was cool to them. And everybody around them suffered, man. The innocent people were the ones that was really suffering. So I want to play this movie. Not this movie, this little clip, this little short clip. And I first seen it on the channel Thoughts Camera Action, but it's the video is actually from a channel called Mario Bossi's, and I'm gonna put the links in the description box. I'm gonna try, because I want to give the proper credit, to both channels. So she's talking about what Canaan said to his descendants before he died. This is the instructions he gave to his descendants before he died. You remember how Abraham and Isaac, before they died, they all gathered their sons around and they told them, hey, do righteousness, do goodness, do this, do that, follow the Most High. This is what Canaan said to his descendants before he died.
So moving on, we have the will of Canaan. Canaan was so wicked that his last will and testament to his children was a formula for vice, which read, love one another, that is of this tribe only. Love robbery, love lewdness, hate your masters, and do not speak the truth. The only place left to find the will of Canaan is in the Babylonian Talmud, where it presents 5 things Canaan willed his sons. There is very, very few writings left on the Canaanites and the ritualistic practices they partake in, and it is not dived into as much as it should be during sermons, church, and Bible study. Well,
so you see, he told his sons, love your own tribe, basically, and the guy Thomas Shelby, in the movie, he had love for his people. He had love. He took care of his own, But everybody else, like outside of, he was corrupt, man. He was real corrupt, and the top it off, he didn't believe in the Most High. He had times where people was turn their life, they would turn their life around, just to serve the Most High, and people they were laughing at them, joking on them, like, where's your balls, this, that, and the third, But exactly what she said about Canaan, this is what they were doing in the movie, man. Lying, they made it okay to steal, kill, and you see this in this modern day time, man. Lying is acceptable, telling the truth people are frowning on you for that. But being a liar, being corrupt, being wicked, that's cool. Somebody that gets mad at wickedness, is evil. But the people that was doing evil, it's all good. And you see it, and the only people that was suffering, were the innocent ones around them. Let's play one more clip, man.
In Revelation 2:9, it says, I know your works, the tribulation and poverty, but you are rich. And I know the blasphemy of them, which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. I just want to be clear to you guys that the synagogues of Satan is referring to Canaan. They are children of Satan who claim to be Jews but are not, meaning that they claim to be followers of Christ. These are the Canaanite, Edomite tribes who had infiltrated Judea in the centuries before Christ, and they adopted Judaism in name, became circumcised, and were left to be known as Jews in the Christian era. These people have actually and literally descended from the tribes of the enemies of Yahweh, our God. Those tribes are the Canaanite tribes descended from Cain, and the Edomite tribes descended from Esau. So how do we relate today? Well, this word clearly has some significance if we go back and translate it through ancient texts and ancient ways that are still prominent in society today, now more than ever, actually. Modern-day Canaanites, Phoenicians, or Venetians are those of power in the world who dominated commerce and politics. Canaanite heirs control the N-W-O today. Canaanite heirs control this. They plan it. They partake in ritualistic practices, make something so secretive, so popularized without the people even knowing it. In Revelations book 13, verse 1 through 8, it says, all mankind will very soon obey and worship the devil and the beast power, for they have been fooled. They will war against those who have faith in Jesus and keep the commandments, thus achieving a victory, though short-lived, against God's people, particularly overruling entirely. And the Canaanites continue to rob, enslave, and massacre. All liberation movements that have existed in all of history are discussed under the Canaanite context and will today. All liberation movements derive from the will of Canaan. Not one of them, all of them. I think we can think of quite a few this year alone.
So you see that? So I'm not gonna get into too deep, but Ham wasn't the one that Noah cursed. Noah cursed Canaan. Canaan was the one that was cursed, not Ham. So a lot of people like to say, oh, the black skin is a curse, and Ham was never cursed. A lot of times when we think of Ham, we tend to think, the blackest one. But like I said, that's a story for another day, man. I just want to stay focused on, you see the similarities in the stories of them being wanderers, them being corrupt thieves, For those of you if you watched it, you'll understand what I'm talking about. If you didn't watch it, look, you can still get the gist of what I'm talking about, though. You see what she said, man. Oh man. So, these guys made it all the way up into Congress, man. And we're preaching to the people, And they felt like they was doing a good thing. They felt like they were doing a good thing, but they were making things worse, actually, man. And I sat back and I was looking at it from like, damn, anybody that has a righteous mindset that comes into the environment is gonna be corrupted by them, because they're controlling everything, in the movie, I mean, come on, like all the corrupt people in the movie, in this film, they were controlling everything. And the one, like I said, the ones that did not want to bend to their will, they got the bad end of the stick, man. Oh man, let's keep going. Proverbs 16:12. It is an abomination to kings to commit wickedness, for the throne is established by righteousness. Kings is what? People that that's put in these positions of power. Your presidents, your judges, your chief of police, like anybody in a leadership position, man. He says it's an abomination for them to commit wickedness, man, because for the throne is established by righteousness, man. The Most High's throne is established by righteousness, not wickedness, man. So when you put in these positions, you're supposed to be doing good, not evil, man. Psalms 89, verse 14. Justice and judgment are the habitation of thy throne. Mercy and truth. And truth shall go before thy face. Not lies, man. Truth. So the Most High, his throne is established by righteousness, man. Not lies, not wickedness. So when you guys in these positions, your throne is supposed to be established the same way. But it's not that way, man. Yeah, so I'm gonna wrap it up here, man. So like I said, man, you've seen that connection between the gypsies, and their corrupt lifestyle. You've seen that with the Khazars, and their corrupt lifestyle, on how they, they lie, they cheat, they steal, they do anything. They'll steal your to the point your whole identity, So, Netflix is real blasphemous against the Most High, man. So when you watching these shows, man, you have to be strong, man, because the fool, he'll watch this and be like, you see, the Most High is not real. Thomas Shelby don't believe. But like, it's another. The people that he was torturing and doing all manner of wicked to, of course they didn't see the torment that he was going through, all the heartache that he was going through, because all the manner of wickedness that he was doing, So like he was saying, that he was trying to figure out, why he's so, why he can't get no rest, because there's no rest for the wicked, man. Like the Most High said. So all praises to the Most High, man. Hopefully this was edifying.